Later, moved back into the cognitive neuroscience using high-density EEG and completed his PhD in neural correlates of attentional processes following meditation. Currently, he holds the scientific and technical support for Philips Neuro USA for the Asia-Pacific region. I welcome you, sir. Our today's speaker, Dr. Bishwaroop Roy Chaudhary, sir, a well-known face, medical nutritionist with doctorate in diabetes from Alliance International University, Zambia. Today, he'll be speaking on the topic, Table to Toilet, a Journey to Cure. I welcome you, sir. I would like to hand over now session to our chairperson, Dr. P. Sharanyan, sir.
Very warm good morning to all of you, and I think we are all set to start with our session, so we request our speaker to begin the session, and we will follow with comments after the session. Please start. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. लैपटॉप को लगा दो लाइट लैपटॉप चालू ओके ऑनरेबल दादा केन लखानी सर chairperson co-chairman and my dear friends, when I think of modern medicine I think of only one thing. Modern medicine to me is like a soap. When I was in school, you think back about 30 or 40 years, there used to be only one kind of soap, Hammam, Lifebuoy, right? Only one kind of soap. Whether you want to wash your face, wash your hair, wash your body, one soap. But today, there is a soap for your face, for your hand, there is a hand wash, something like that. For hair, there is shampoo. It depends on which kind of hair you want to clean. So, for each and every part of the body, virtually there is a soap, precisely meant for that particular part, with the belief that every part of the body gets dirty in a different way. So should be clean in a different way. So today I clean my hair. Can you guess it is shampoo or face wash or body soap? So I tried this, you also try. Of course, one day you do it with shampoos, second day you do with the body wash, and third day with the face wash. I think face wash is better, right? So modern medicine has become like this. About 50 years back, 30 years back, there used to be only one doctor. But now there are so many specialists, super specialists, to the extent that for the left eye, there is another specialist, for the right eye, there is another specialist. Even from the in-between the eyes, eyeball, there is a super specialist. So it reminds me of a story of an elephant you might have heard in your childhood. Elephant and 7 blind men. So it is the same. Unless you see a person as a whole, you cannot repair, you cannot correct it. Your interpretation will not be correct. So that is the most important thing. We have to understand that each and every part of the body is connected together, integrated together. It cannot be seen as a separate entity. And the moment you try to see it as a separate entity, you can do the treatment, but you cannot cure. So that's why I think always it is called practicing doctor. Practice, not perfect. It is a practice. Have you ever heard practicing engineer? There is no practicing engineer, a perfect engineer, right? But there is a practicing doctor because not sure of what will be the outcome. And to me, among all the profession, doctor is the best profession. Whether you give result or not, you will get your money. Right? Suppose you take your car to the mechanic shop, but he is not able to repair the car, will you give him money? You will not give him money. Rather, you will ask for some penalty because he has wasted your time and a lot of other things, your misery. But in medical science, in doctors, the good thing for all of us, among at least those who are doctors, they need not to worry about money. That will come, right? And if the patient dies, then it will their next to them, their relative, somebody will give. So here we have to really think about it. What should be the medical science? And I call it table to toilet. Before I start, let me ask a simple question. ये फ्रीज है मेरे ख्याल से. यहाँ हो रहा है, वहाँ नहीं हो रहा. ये तो हो रहा है, उधर नहीं हो रहा. Okay. Can you tell me which are the disease not of the microbes, not of the germs? Which are the disease out of this which is not caused by the germs, not caused by the microbes? Anybody, anyone? You? Diabetes? Heart disease? Hypertension? Cancer. So we have a clear understanding that which are the disease of microbes and which are not the disease of microbes. So we have categorized disease in two different categories. One is the lifestyle disease, as you said, hypertension, diabetes, cancer, and other is the disease thyroid, another is the disease of germs, microbes, virus, bacteria, tuberculosis, typhoid, malaria, dengue, H1N1. These are the disease of germs. And then there is disease of lifestyle. The problem comes here. The problem comes the moment you are distinguishing the two diseases. So we have to look once again. So at the end of this lecture, I'll ask this question again, and let's see what is your answer, right? Okay. As I told yesterday, your distance between table and toilet, right? Greater is the distance, more is the illness. So whether it's piles or cancer, constipation, ulcer, everything is in between these two. The only thing you have to do is you have to adjust the distance. If you are able to adjust the distance, the disease gets cured. So what should be your distance? That is what is the most important thing. We will try to calculate that. This is what is the most important thing. The moment you eat something, it first goes to the stomach, and that is the first interaction of your body with something which is not your body, which is something outside, which is something foreign to your body. It's the first interaction, the first barrier is your stomach, right? And the stomach decides what should be going inside and what should not be going inside. That is the ultimate barrier between the outside world and the inside world, right? So that is the most important thing. To what extent important? You see, this is the place where the microbes, bacteria lives. How much bacteria? Unlimited. But if you want to quantify it, it is all about 1.4 kg of bacteria. You can, if you collect all the bacteria together and you weigh them, it should be about 1.4, 1.5 kg, equal to the weight of your brain. So your brain weight and the weight of the bacteria is exactly same, almost same. That is why this part is also known as second brain. Many of the function of the stomach can do independently without the interference of the brain. So this thing we have to understand, that you are having two brain, and one of the brain is the one which is the barrier between the outside world and the inside world, and the how important it is? About 1.4 kg. of bacteria lying here. Not only here, it is all around your body. It is on the skin. Bacteria हमारे पूरे body में है, stomach में है, esophagus में है, skin में है पूरे. They are invisible because they are very, very small. But in last 50 years, we have announced war against bacteria. We want to kill all of them. We are made to believe they are our enemy number one. So we try to do all the things so that they are not left alive. And antiseptic cream, antiseptic mouthwash, antibiotic, sanitizer, all those places where the bacteria lives. For that, you have a tool, you have a weapon to kill them. Many of them, millions of them lives in your hand. You want to kill it every day. You do it, right? You are told to do it. Similarly, many of them lives in your mouth. You kill it every day. Many of them live in your, on your face, on the skin. You kill it, right? Before you start from your house, you ensure by all the weapon, I will kill all the microbe, all the bacteria. They are the enemy number one because most of the people, they die, at least 50% of them, not now, about 50 years back, they die of infectious disease. Isn't it? Right? So, you see, 1900th century, the 50% of the death, or even more than 50% of the death, was because of the germs, because of tuberculosis, because of smallpox, because of measles, because of diphtheria, right? So because of loose motion connected with, again, microbes. So it was very clear that our enemy number one, which causes 50% of the death or more than 50% of the death, are microbes. So let's kill the enemy, isn't it? And that's what we are trying to achieve. And to achieve that, we have number of tools, we have number of weapons. And these are some of the weapons which we use every day. They are called drugs. They are called medicine. But now it has become a part of the lifestyle. Right? We do not see it as a medicine anymore. We see it as a lifestyle, isn't it? We don't call it as a medicine. You don't say that I'm applying medicine, right? So I'm applying medicine. So rather it is other way around. If somebody is not using sanitizer, then he is unhygienic person, right? It is the other way around. So we don't see it as a medicine, but the truth is these are medicine, these are tools, these are weapons to kill your number one enemy, which is responsible for 50% of the death happening in the world about, say, 100 years back. So, what happened? With the help of these weapons, with the help of these tools, we were able to achieve that 50% or more death. Now it is 2010 report I have. From 50%, it came down to 3%. Isn't it good? Wonderful? Logically, right? 50%, you kill all the enemy. Now the human being die of infectious disease, only 3%. Out of every 100 people, the cause of death because of infectious disease is just 3%. So this means modern medicine has achieved something wonderful. And you were criticizing yesterday, making some people angry. Thank you. So today I want to correct it, right? Modern medicine has really contributed. Otherwise, many of us, including me, would have been killed, suffering from tuberculosis or measles or smallpox, right? Maybe already dead. You are alive because you are not killed, because 50% of the cause of illness is taken care by what we call as modern medicine, right? So that is statistically, it is proved, the data is here. I call it a big change, very big change, a dramatic change which happened in a span of, say, 50 years, 50, 60 years, since the time when first antibiotic was invented, penicillin, right? Maybe 1940 or so. But there is one more bigger change. साउंड नहीं है, कल भी नहीं है, वही था. अच्छा, हेलो हेलो, ये कर रहे हैं ना, आने दीजिए. Okay, let's come back. I call it a very big change, but there is one more bigger change which many of you could not see. And the bigger change is the human nowadays became bigger and taller. You see, for most of you, including me, we are taller than our parents. We are bigger than our parents. Maybe more beautiful than our parents. Right? That is something where we can debate. But surely we are taller than our parents. We are bigger than our parents, isn't it? Right? So that is a contribution of antibiotics. I will prove it later on. Whether human being or animals, when they are put on antibiotics, any kind of antibiotics, they start growing very, very big, very, very quickly. That's why the animals who are grown to be killed so that it becomes your food, they are grown with lot of antibiotics, because then they will grow very, very fast, very, very big, and then they will be more money. It will translate into more money, right? So one more good thing is, you want to be bigger, taller, or you want to remain shorter? Everybody would like to be taller and bigger, isn't it? And this means antibiotics or those medicine are contributing silently in one more thing, making you taller, making you bigger, right? So there is a reference also. But it's like, you see tomato, which is grown, homegrown tomato in a village, looks little bit ugly, very, very small, but then genetically modified tomato. Looks like coming from the factory, all evenly shaped, all very big. So nowadays, the human being, should we compare the human being with this tomato, or they have become this? Right? So if you see, go to any modern developed country, most of the people will be compared to this, bigger, taller, right, like that. So that is how they will look. But one more thing I'll add, human now became bigger and taller and also sicker. More sick than before, no doubt about it. Because now most part of the life, for most of the people, we are consuming some kind of medication, and for most part of the life, for most people, we are under some kind of pain on a continuous basis. Some kind of pain, right? So continuously, if you are dependent on some medication every day, so you are not living. You are trying to live, right? So you are not healthy. So that is one thing, that today's humans are bigger and taller but sicker. Sick than what it was before. So why all this happening? What the study says? It's all about studies. It is all about proof. So the mechanism, how the body works inside, what causes these changes, if you understand the cause, then only you can find the cure. Then only you can find the solution. To find the solution of a problem, first thing is we have to find what causes this problem at the first place. Unless you know what is the solution, what is the problem, what is the cause, why it happened, you cannot go for the solution. So the cause, let's go back. It starts with what we call as antibiotic resistance. It is a very simple concept. Let me make you understand in a very simple way. I'll give you one example to make you understand. Classical example is example of one bacteria called Helicobacter H. pylori bacteria. H. pylori we'll call by name. It is seen in 1980 that more and more people were suffering from ulcer. And if you suffer from ulcer even today for long period, ulcer gets converted into cancer. So people are suffering from ulcer, not getting cured, and then getting converted into cancer. One thing commonly found in all the people who are suffering from ulcer was they all were having one bacteria in common, H. pylori bacteria. Anybody who will suffer from ulcer, in their body, in their stomach, lot of H. pylori bacteria. Then the science invented a antibiotic, means a tool to kill that H. pylori. And they saw when they kill H. pylori bacteria in the people who are suffering from ulcer, the ulcer goes away. So they got a cure, a medicine to treat ulcer. Clear? So this means you see 10 people suffering from ulcer and then see what is common among them, and you try to eliminate that common thing. And if the ulcer goes, this means the cause is, what is the cause in this case? H. pylori, right? So you know the cause, you remove the cause. If it is cured, then it is more, now you are sure about it, the cause of ulcer was H. pylori. What is the underlying mechanism? That is not important, that people are not interested. Most of the time even science could not find. But more important here is that if I could do something to remove ulcer, that is the first duty of science, or what we call as modern medicine. So that was achieved. So how it happens? Imagine in a stomach of a person with a ulcer, these are, yellow dots are H. pylori bacteria. Now, if it is getting killed, then the ulcer will also vanish. That is being proven. To kill it, you have to give some antibiotic, which can attack, which can kill this bacteria. Here, very important thing you have to understand, the total number of bacteria in the stomach is constant. Neither it can grow more, neither it can grow less. The total population in the stomach is constant, right? Let's say it is 1.4 kg of bacteria. That is constant. Now, when the antibiotic is killing this H. pylori bacteria, the ulcer is gone, surely, but the population of total bacteria will reduce or increase? Reduce. But the nature of the body is, it has to remain constant. Even if it gets reduced, some other kind of bacteria will multiply quickly, so that the total number, total quantity should become same, right? So the kind of bacteria which will get an opportunity to grow very quickly are the kind which cannot be killed by that antibiotic. Is it logical? Yeah? So those bacteria, those are known as resistant bacteria. They are already there, but in a very small quantity in the stomach, right? So small quantity that it cannot influence your body at all. It cannot do any good, it cannot do any bad, it is just a minority resident in your body, right? But now, when the antibiotic killed the H. pylori in this case, then the minority which cannot be killed by that particular antibiotic, what it will happen? It will get an opportunity, a playground to increase very quickly. And how much time it takes? 1 day. 1 day. Right? In 1 day, they can cross 300 generations. For us, 1 generation means 30 years. For them, in 1 day, 300 generations. Right? So 1 day is enough. And within 1 day, what will happen? Your stomach looking like this with ulcer. Antibiotic comes in. Ulcer is gone, but now your stomach look like this. Right? These red are resistant bacteria. Resistant means they cannot be attacked. They are immune to antibiotic, number one. And most likely these are the bacteria which are notorious also. Somehow they are notorious also. They are not contributing any good to your body. But when they are in large quantity, it is going to be a burden on the body. Because the total amount of bacteria cannot be more or less, it has to be constant. This means they are occupying a space, but they are not contributing in your well-being. Right? So that is one example. Now, if you start taking the antibiotic more and more, this means your body, your stomach will develop more and more bacteria which are resistant to the antibiotics. Right? So, you see, since 1940 or 1930, when the first antibiotic was introduced, it took only 5 years, 7 years, 10 years for the population to become resistant to certain kind of bacteria which is there in the body. This means take any medicine, it is not going to affect that bacteria because they are resistant, and that is why they have grown, right? So this means now this generation, including me and you, we have what inside are more or less called resistant bacteria. Clear? So one proof that you see 1983 to 1987, there were 16 antibiotic was invented. Then 1988 to 1992, 14 antibiotic was invented. But after 2012, no invention of antibiotics. Because now your body is full of resistant bacteria. Now there is no weapon which can kill. Right? So this means now we are not the same human being as we were 20 years back. Right? We were not the same brain, 1.4 kg is there. Still it is 1.4 kg. At that time also 1.4 kg. But this 1.4 kg is different from that 1.4 kg. The population is different. Their behavior is different from that 1.4 kg. Right? So in the beginning, when the antibiotic was introduced, it seems that it is saving some life. But in long run, now a new problem which is called antibiotic resistant. This means you are full of those bacteria which are your resident, but they are not contributing to your well-being. Right? So I'll give you one example. H. pylori we talked. When it is in high quantity, it will cause what? Ulcer. So what you did? You killed it. When it is in very less quantity, it causes gastric, esophageal reflux disease, celiac disease, stomach cancer, asthma, right? So these are the things which causes, right, allergy. If it is very less or negligible, even then it causes disease. If it is very much high, even then it causes disease. Both the cases it causes disease. It has to be in an optimum number, only then it can work effectively. Whether it is H. pylori bacteria, which I am talking about. Now you see, all these diseases which you can see here, it comes under the category of lifestyle disease, or it comes under the category of germ disease. These are known to be lifestyle disease, but the culprit here is, the percentage of a particular bacteria, right? Or if I talk of Akkermansia mucinifila, need not to remember the name, right? Name of a bacteria. If your body is lacking this bacteria, this is the bacteria which triggers the pancreas, tells the pancreas how to produce insulin. So, but if the population of this bacteria is less, then the pancreas will not learn or will not be alert enough to produce the required amount of insulin. How much insulin your body needs every day, every moment, this calculation was sent, this information is sent by something called this bacteria, which is there on the screen. And again, if this bacteria is not there in your body or very less in your body, then you will see that the body is not able to produce insulin as much as should be, and you will be categorized as a diabetes patient. Diabetes patient is a lifestyle disease, but who is responsible? Microbes, right? So this means you are not paying attention to the microbe because it is connected with either genetic or lifestyle disease. So the focus is somewhere else, right? The culprit is someone else, right? But the focus is somewhere else. So you cannot find the solution, right, if you focus at the wrong place, right? If your money or a money purse is lost somewhere else, but you try to find it in different location, however good you are at finding certain things, you still will not be able to find out. So the important thing is where we want to find the solution, right? So one more example. We have heard of this hormone, serotonin. It is known to be connected with the hormone of the brain. Anything related to the brain, mood, depression, emotion, right, brain's functioning is connected with this hormone. But the interesting thing is 80% of this hormone is produced in the stomach by the bacteria, the friendly bacteria. But the kind of bacteria which is in your stomach is not friendly, resistant bacteria. So, and because of that, you see nowadays, insomnia, autism, brain disorder, these are the kind of name which were which are coined only in last 30 years. Before 30 years, when you were in school, when I was in school, I've never heard anybody autism. I've seen a child with a allergy or a skin disease, or I've never seen a small child with asthma. Or in my whole school, right, if I count how many children were there with spectacles, very few. But now every third child is wearing spectacles. You go to a school, every third or fourth child you will find wearing spectacles. So these are the big differences, which seems to be a lifestyle disorder. But if you see inside, you'll find there is some connection with the microbe also. Right? So the population of microbe these days are different from the population of microbe when we were young. That's why it is 16 February 2019, The Lancet. It is called End of Modern Medicine, a great article that modern medicine has ended. Medicine, the body has become resistant to medicine. We have to look for something beyond medicine now. The time has come, right? So it is antimicrobial resistance. It is a big topic all over the world for last few years. In last few years, modern medicine has literally accepted that the medicine has failed to work. It cannot work anymore because technically, you know, your body has developed resistant bacteria so much that now the medicine cannot work. Now, if any medicine is invented to kill the bacteria, it can kill the bacteria only when it kills you as well. Right? So that's why, thank you. That is the reason why, with this worry in mind, WHO and other organizations, they started something called GLASS. Launched in October 2015, it's called Global Antimicrobial Resistance Surveillance System. And 71 countries participated, including India. These, with pink, these are the countries, they participated in this mission. That is, mission is removing the medicine, removing the antibiotics from the human life, right? So if medicines are so important, so good, why there is a drive to remove it from earth? This means now they have realized that in short term it may seem to be giving some benefit to the humans, but in long run it is killing the humans. Trying to cure the humans with medicine, but the humanity is suffering, right? That is what is understood now. For a short term, you may get some relief, but at the cost of making the whole generation sick and getting killed or suffering most of the time. Now here you see, ulcer may lead to cancer, that is one thing, right? But H. pylori bacteria, if it is very, very less, then directly it may cause cancer. If it is very, very high, it will cause ulcer. Ulcer will cause cancer. But if it is very, very less, directly it will cause cancer, stomach cancer, right? So in addition to this, if H. pylori bacteria is very, very less, negligible, then in addition to that, it will cause these illness. So you see, in 1994, WHO has announced a war against H. pylori bacteria, and WHO has announced H. pylori bacteria is carcinogen. Right? This means it is having a cancerous property, so wherever you find this bacteria, just keep on killing it randomly. Right? And then what happened? When they started killing the bacteria, right? Like what happens? Vaccination drive, randomly try to vaccinate all the children. Each of the child is getting 25 vaccination these days. Similarly, there was a drive, 1994, in several developed countries, where they tried to kill all H. pylori bacteria because it is being announced as a cancer causing. Now those children in developed country, they are in the body are deficient with those bacteria, and now the kind of illness they are suffering, as I just shown you, these are the kind of illness. Less that, this becomes more. That is less, this becomes more, right? So these are the illness of the developed country. Small children of developed country, these are the illness. Poor country, these are not the illness because they don't have the money to buy antibiotic and distribute to their citizen. So they are protected. Still they are protected. Their body, their children body, they have this bacteria in large quantity, right, in optimum quantity. So they are not facing this illness as of now. I'll give you one example how the microbe and the disease connection exist. How a microbe can be responsible for your well-being or how the microbe can make you sick. One example, like let's talk of a hormone, estrogen, a female hormone, mostly a female hormone, body is producing, ovary is producing, it goes to the liver. And in the liver is, chemical factory. It does some processing based on its own intelligence. It binds, it combines this hormone with sugar. So from the factory, when the chemical factory, when the product is coming out, it comes out estrogen plus sugar, coated with sugar, right? Now, this travels in the intestine. This travels in the intestine. When it travels in the intestine, intestine is full of bacteria, friendly bacteria. And bacteria's food to live is that sugar. So bacteria, what it does, while the estrogen is carrying sugar, bacteria takes away the sugar from the estrogen and eat it to feed itself. So the estrogen is left alone. If it is left alone, it will do only one thing, it will enter the blood. Now it will be circulating in the blood, right? So, and it will contribute, it will do its function for which it is made. That is how. Thank you. But if your body is full of resistant bacteria, then how it happens? Estrogen will come to the liver will does its own duty, chemical factory, the finished good is estrogen plus sugar. Now they are flowing in the stomach, but in the stomach, instead of friendly bacteria, what is there? And the resistant bacteria behavior is not the same as friendly bacteria. They eat different kind of food. They are not interested in that sugar. So this means the resistant bacteria will not be able to take out or eat the sugar. This means they will not be able to break the bonding. If estrogen and sugar bonding is not broken, it cannot enter the blood, it has to excrete. Right? Thank you, friends. And if it excretes, the level of estrogen in the blood will decrease. Lesser is the level of estrogen in the blood, more is abnormal bleeding, irregular periods, PCOD, all kind of female hormonal disease. Thank you, friends. Thank you. So this is the contribution of modern medicine to us in last 50 years. So here you have to understand, although if you look carefully, these diseases mostly look to be a lifestyle-oriented disease, or somebody will say this is a genetic-oriented disease, but the truth, if you see step by step, it is more to do with micro in the body. The resistant bacteria or the friendly bacteria. Ultimately, they are our second brain. So, the same classical case with diabetes. What is diabetes? It is known to be a lifestyle disease. Diabetes simply means, which I tell in many of the lecture, diabetes means high sugar in the blood. So the rule is, if you can bring down your sugar to a normal level, what is normal level? Again, there is a question mark, but whatever is your normal level, then diabetes is gone. That is what is our understanding. What is diabetes? It means high sugar in the body, high sugar in the blood, diabetes. You do something with your body, blood sugar comes normal, no diabetes. That is the present understanding. That is what we have understood till now with our own experience of being a diabetes patient, with the experience of the people around us. Diabetes means high sugar in the body. Okay, that is the present thing. Now, you see, modern medicine could understand diabetes means high sugar and we have to bring down the sugar. And if you could bring down the sugar, like H. pylori example, that high H. pylori causes cancer, we have to bring down H. pylori. That's all. So similarly, body is not that simple. But that connection is made. H. pylori more, bring it down, cancer or ulcer will be low. Similarly, the understanding is high sugar, bring it down. That's all. So in last 50 years, you have seen all around that people, they brought down the sugar. The sugar came down, but what happened? Complication went up. Right? People, sugar is normal range, but they are more sick. Whether we call of ACCORD trial, advanced trial, VADD trial, Veteran Affairs Diabetes trial, UKPDS trial, all the trials, they point out only one thing: medicine can bring down the sugar, blood sugar, at the cost of making you more sick. Very clearly, right? So high sugar is bad, but trying to bring down with medicine is worse. So you have a choice between bad and worse, right? If somebody asks me whether high sugar is good, I know bad, you should bring down it. But if you try to bring down with medicine, it is even worse. So the choice between bad and worse, which one you will choose? Let it be bad. So any day, it is always better to have a high blood sugar rather than trying to reduce it with medication. That is the current understanding or with the basis of these trials. Let me tell you one important thing. You may be thinking, all these trials were there, even then why even today? Today, if you from this hall, you go to any hospital, any doctor, the moment they see the high blood sugar, what they will do? They will give medicine. So why they are not following these trials? Why they are not following these trials? Most of the trial happened before 2008. After 2008, only one trial happened, that is 2012 VADT trial. Rest of the trial happened before 2008. This means this information were available to us for more than a decade now. Right? In last 10 years also, we were knowing through this result that medicine can bring down the blood sugar at the cost of making you even more sick. But they were not implemented in the real world. Because implementing them in the real world means you have to call your patient and ask the patient that in last 20 years, the medication which I asked you to take, from today you must stop it. And the patient will lose faith on the doctor. Right? So this means the whole industry will collapse. Right? So that this is the problem, dilemma situation for the medical fraternity, what to do. So finally, with all this dilemma in 2018, as Yogesh ji has told yesterday, in 2018, ACP guideline came, and if you see the first guideline of the ACP, the 4 guidelines, first guideline was avoid giving medication, because by giving medication only you are reducing sugar, blood sugar, at the cost of making the people more sick. First guideline, first sentence only, right? Very clear statement, no confusion, right? So, and if you read it elaborately, you will understand that even if your blood sugar is around 250 or less than that without medicine, that is fantastic, need not to worry at all, right? Thank you. So, in spite of this guideline, which is an official guideline by any standard, even then you see here, nobody is following this guideline because this guideline is not profitable. So, unless it is profitable, nobody is going to follow it. So, but here we are for a change. That's why we are here. You are here, I am here for a change beyond profits. So, here, thank you, friends. Thank you. Nowadays, one more disease has come up where diabetes people are having diabetes, but blood sugar is normal. Isn't it amazing? Anytime you check the blood sugar, most of the people, they're crazy about, I want blood sugar 100. Even if I die, I want blood sugar 100. So they keep on taking medication. And now a situation has come when many patients I've seen, their blood sugar is near 100 always, all the time. Whatever they eat, they don't take medicine for diabetes also, blood sugar remain 100. Good? Right? Taking medicine. Hello? Yeah, without taking medicine, the blood sugar remain 100 all the time. But they have all the symptoms of diabetes. Excessive thirst, urination throughout the day, in a day 15 to 20 liters of urine, and all the discomforts. So this is a new category of diabetes called diabetes insipid, right? A new category of diabetes, where your blood sugar remains normal, but you have all the symptoms of a diabetes patient. So what you will do? You became diabetes resistant, right? So the medicine stopped working. Your body has changed its way. Your body's mechanism has changed, your microbe has changed, and that's why those medicine which seems to be effective few years back, now it is no more effective. And that is what the Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, British Medical Journal, together they coined one name, and the name is End of Modern Medicine. Right? So, thank you. 9th of January 2018, my own. They only gave it, I just picked it up from there. Right? So I could not get time to reply them. Maybe after this 3 days, I will reply. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So, am I audible? Hello. So here one more microbe I'm talking about. This is another microbe, one last example about the microbe. There are many, 500 varieties of microbe. Each one of them, if we take 1 minute, it will take about 500 minutes, which I want to cut short, but I want to give you a brief idea of what are microbes and how it contributes to your body. So I'm giving 2-3 examples, and one of the examples is viridans streptococci. A kind of microbe in 1990s was known to cause heart valve disease. Because it was found in 1990, all the patients, those who were suffering from heart valve disease, they have one thing in common. In their heart valve, they found this bacteria. So they could connect that if you have this bacteria in your mouth, from mouth it will slip to the heart somewhere, and that will cause heart valve disease. So what is the solution? Kill it. Finish it off. And it took about a decade's time to clear it, to kill it. And now what happens when they found that the people with very less this bacteria in the stomach, this means the resistant bacteria, it is in more quantity, and the resistant bacteria is famously known as GAS, G-A-S, group A strep, right, the short form. This less in your mouth, this is more in your mouth. This is more in your mouth, more you will suffer from immunity dysfunction, skin disease, autoimmune disease, right? All kind of illness. As you can see, the list is incomplete list, only the amount of numbers of disease which can fit in this slide, but there are many more illness which can cause if you try to kill this viridans, which we try to do through antiseptic mouthwash kind of things. So killing this is not going to be a solution. That is very clear, not only with us. For last, now it is more than 7-8 years, the modern medicine has understood that human being by now has almost become resistant to the medicine. This means the solution has to be beyond this. Beyond this. But the problem with the pharmaceutical company is they will try to find a solution which has to be profitable. So they found a solution. So today I'm going to share one solution which is, I think, profitable also. And if you like, you can practice it. Right? I'm going to train you for that. But I think it is beneficial also. Anything which is beneficial and profitable, should you practice or not? Yeah, right? Okay. There are few people who are clapping, right? But but it needs a lot of determination also to practice. It's easy to say I'll practice, but when it takes a little bit hard work, then let's see how many people clap. Okay. So you remember those who clapped? All your neighbors, just, and let me explain. And again, I will check whether they are still ready or not, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the solution. Solution is one. You have to change the 1.4 kg bacteria totally. Now it is resistant bacteria. If you can replace that again with a friendly bacteria, problem is solved. Now the basic question comes is, how to do it? The science has an answer. Science has an answer, it could do it in few days. It is very easy, And a few days means 3-4 days. Very cost effective, and it's so easy that you can do it at home, you can do it in a hotel room or in this hospital. How many of you would like to try? Okay, very good, very good. After this, those who would like to try will go to the near that our Naturopathy hospital and let's try, right? But let me explain that first. It is called, some of you are suspicious about, anyway, it is called FMT. The name is called FMT. It is New England Journal of Medicine, 2013, right? FMT to cure patient with recurrent, right, disease, right? So technically, FMT is the name of that kind of therapy, and with this therapy, you can cure most of the illness. Most of the illness. You can cure diabetes, you can cure hypertension, you can cure obesity. Now you know all these illness came from those microbes, and the microbe population you are going to replace, then everything will be cured. That too within few days. Sounds good? And that too cost effective. Okay, hold on. It is called FMT. The full form of FMT, fecal microbiota transplant. This means you have to find a healthy donor, and here you have to take his feces. In Hindi, somebody asked me to translate in Hindi, mal. Stool, healthy donor. Healthy donor, the definition is he should seem to be beautiful and healthy, that's all. And then you will take the feces, the stool, put it in a pichkari, what you call in English, I do not know, right? And then this either goes through nose, or if you like, it goes through your esophagus. There are three ways it can go inside. You can choose your favorite way, right? Okay, step by step, let me explain, because now you have to do it yourself, right? First, you have to find a donor and you have to do it. How many people are still ready? Only one. Still one is there. 2. Okay. Step 1. Step 1, you find the donor, healthy donor, beautiful donor, and you collect your. By the way, it is called, FDA has classified it as a drug, 2012, right? FDA has classified this as a drug. Since it is a drug, it can be sold in chemist shop. So then, according to your disease, they will which kind of feces is suitable to you, right? So that is what is being already tested. Tested now, maybe anytime it will be launched commercially, right? So, but you need not to wait till so long. I will explain it right now itself. So, you get the first step, the product. Then you have to screen the product. There should not be any unwanted virus, unwanted germs, and then you have to store it in a cold place. And now it can be implanted in your stomach through those 3, any of the route of your choice or whatever is possible. It can be through enema, it can be through colonoscopy, it can be through esophagus, through nasal cavity, whatever is suitable or whatever you find is more favorite, you can do it, you can try it, right? So this is called fecal microbiota transplant, and it is known to change the disease system, right? Change to cure most of the disease within few days. Right? So this is very simple, right? Will you call it naturopathy or modern medicine? So they are correct that modern medicine can cure. So this is the modern medicine and it can cure, and this is the drug. It is classified as a drug. Now, you may be wondering how it will cure. First of all, it is very clear that this is nothing practical. Nobody will do. People will prefer to die rather than doing like this, right? So what is the other alternate, which is acceptable to us, people like us, right? So here I'm going to give you the true solution. If you don't want this, then I can give you a simpler idea, easier thing, right? So for that, only one slide. You have to understand, this is a place, about 20 years back, modern science told appendix is a part of the body which is useful or useless? Useless, worthless. Why? Because if you cut, even then the person do not suffer from any illness. After the cutting and throwing it out, the person is the same as before without any change in any of the body or any of the body metabolism or any of the body homeostasis, no chemical change, no bodily change, no sickness status change. This means this organ do not contribute in anything. It is just useless. It is just carrying on with the humans for many, many generations, and no reason why the God has put this appendix, right? That is what is the understanding as a literature. Now it is understood that as your intestine get depleted of friendly bacteria, appendix, it keeps on collecting the sample of the friendly bacteria like a storehouse, right? Thank you. And if you give the right nutrition to your intestine, within 1,000 generation of microbe, the resistant bacteria can get converted into friendly bacteria, right? How many generation? 1,000 generation. Within 1,000 generation, the resistant bacteria will get converted into friendly bacteria, because friendly bacteria reserve is already there in appendix, but they are in very, very small quantity. The only thing you have to do is you have to eat or give those nutrition which the resistant bacteria do not eat. So what will happen? They will die. And as their population will reduce, total amount of population has to be constant. Then what will happen? From the appendix, the friendly bacteria will come and they will multiply, because they will go get a playground to multiply. Right? Very simple. How much time it should take? 1,000 generation. So in one day, how many generation? So how many days? 3 to 4 days. As simple as 3 to 4 days. Whatever may be your past. Whatever may be your past, I don't care. I can tell you that within 3 to 4 days, your future will be totally different than whatever your past. Because you will be a different person, because you will be different second brain. Your second brain is totally different now within the first 4 days. So it is as simple or as complex as this. Now, the only thing you have to do is, for next few days, you have to ensure that you starve the resistant bacteria to death. Simple. You don't give any food to the resistant bacteria, they will die their own death. And other way around, you give the food to the bacteria, the friendly bacteria, the kind of food which the friendly bacteria like, and in that environment it will grow, and 1,000 generation can pass within 4 days. Your microbiota is changed. The moment the microbiota changed, you are a new person. Blood pressure normal, blood sugar normal, cholesterol normal, right? Pain gone. If you're fat, you start reducing the weight. Wherever is the fat, it'll start vanishing. Within a month's time, 10% of the weight will be down. The tumor size will start shrinking. All those things start, you can notice within the first 4 days, right? Okay, so now, the only rule is, for next few days, 3 days, 4 days at least, you have to starve all the resistant bacteria to death. This means at least for 4 days, you should not eat those things which your resistant bacteria may like. Right? So what are those things? This is the most important thing I would like you to understand very, very clearly. Only then you can do it. Food the friendly bacteria like, it is called prebiotics. Remember one thing. Friendly bacteria like one kind of food, mostly prebiotics. And this is the kind of food which resistant bacteria hate. They'll be killed. So it is solving two purposes. Friendly bacteria, they like it, it will grow. Resistant bacteria don't like it, they will be killed. So did you hear probiotics? I said prebiotics. There is nothing called probiotics. It is prebiotics. Probiotics is a marketing term. That is probiotics, which, can you name any product with probiotics? Yakult. You see television ad too much, right? So, Yakult, probiotics, right? Good ad, but good only in ad. Truly, probiotics, there is nothing called probiotics. I'll tell you what probiotics means. Probiotics means friendly bacteria, if you see the dictionary meaning. But, for example, in this product, it is given in a bottle, right? in a bottle, when it is packed, it becomes oxygen abundance or oxygen deficient. The friendly bacteria, how you will recognize friendly bacteria cannot live where there is no oxygen. It can live, thank you. So it can live only where there is abundance of oxygen. So if somebody give you something saying it is probiotics or some good for bacteria, if it is not having oxygen, this means he is lying, right? So simple. So there is nothing called probiotics. There is something called probiotics marketing, but no probiotics in reality, right? It is always prebiotics. So we have to remove this vocabulary from our life, and we have to add prebiotics. What are prebiotics? The prebiotics are the food which the friendly bacteria like to eat, and they are these. Cellulose, which you can find in green leafy vegetable. Amylose, which you can find in the roots, potato and carrots. Pectin, which you can find in the upper coating of the apple. Inulin, which you can find in onion. So these are called prebiotics. These are the food for the friendly bacteria. But I don't want to confuse you. Thank you, friends. Thank you. With this complicated name, I don't want to confuse you. I want to give you only one name, familiar, fiber. Food with fiber, simple. Food with fiber. Fiber is, the other name of fiber is prebiotics, right? When you want to talk technically, when you want to look that you're more intelligent, then you say prebiotics. But in reality, I'm just wanting to say it is fiber, right? Fiber. So now, the next slide, the most important slide. Refined food is food minus fiber. What is refined food? You take any food, you remove the fiber, it becomes refined food. So refined food is food for friendly bacteria or resistant bacteria? Simple, right? So food for resistant bacteria and fiber. So what we have been doing in the last 30 years? We are throwing the food of the friendly bacteria out, and the remaining, which is the food for the resistant bacteria, that we are eating. And the result is in front of you. Lot of hypertension, lot of diabetes, lot of cancer, right? So more refined food, less is fiber, less is friendly bacteria, more is resistant bacteria. Very simple formula. So you have to just make it opposite. More of fiber, more of friendly bacteria, less of resistant bacteria. This means less of refined food. Or if you want to put all of them together, it will become like this. The formula for growing friendly bacteria in your body is simple as prebiotics, right? The fancy name, simple name is fibers, plus phytochemicals. Phytochemicals, simple is any compound which is found in fruits and vegetables. But if you want to confuse someone, phytochemical, right? So, nitrosamine. Nitrosamine, if you want to confuse somebody, if you want to appear to be more educated, nitrosamine. But if you don't want, in a simple language, if you want to make people understand, so it is like this. Animal protein or tobacco, it creates a kind of chemical which is called nitrosamine. Phytochemicals are the compounds which are found only in fruits and vegetables, right? So the formula becomes this plus this minus this. If you can do it for a few days, you change your second brain. You change your second brain within few days. So here, prebiotics, which the other name is fiber, we have to understand when you cook the food, when you process the food, unfortunately, the fiber is lost. It loses its ability to work as a food for friendly bacteria. Humans are the only animal who cook the food. Have you seen cat cooking a food? So I'm not saying that you should stop cooking from today. I'm saying that you should eat food also those who are not cooked. You should eat fiber also. That's what I'm saying. in addition to whatever you're eating, minus that last part, plus the fiber. You add to it. I'm not saying you stop your rice, you stop your dal, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that you're missing something, you add that. And something which is harmful, truly you minus it. If you can do this, it is not difficult, I'm sure, right? And if you can do it, is it difficult? Somebody who's saying it is difficult. If you say difficult, I will remind you of few slides back. I think that is easy. This is easy, right? So the moment your patient will say, sir, it is very difficult, doctor, I cannot do it. Okay, don't worry, I have something for you. One more slide for you, right? So when you think of this or this, that looks so easy. So keep both the side. So you have both the technique to cure a patient, right? Which one he prefer? You keep fruits and vegetable, right? Many patients says, doctor साहब कौन खाएगा, मेरे दांत तो मेरे है ही नहीं, right? नहीं खाने की जरूरत नहीं है, हम डाल देंगे. So we can heal a person, no doubt about it. The curing body is no problem, but who will cure the mind? First, the mindset has to be changed, only then you can change the body, right? Body can be changed within 4 days, 5 days, 10 days, right? But the change starts only when your mind changes. So that is a bigger process, that is a bigger effort, which we have to put. So with all these principles in mind, in last 5 years, I've devised a diet plan which works the best in a least time. And many of you already know, you are following already what we call as DIP diet, right? How many of you are following out? Many of you. Right? How many of you have got some result? Great. So you know, a very simple diet which can transform your microbiota in just 72 hours. Yesterday I met many of you, you were saying, the person was taking insulin for last 20 years, and in third day, he was forced to stop the insulin. It is like a miracle. But now, you know, it is not a miracle. It is simple mechanism of the body. Just what you did, you stopped the supply of the food for resistant bacteria, and you gave enough food for the friendly bacteria, and you waited for about 1,000 generation, that is 3 to 4 days, and it has to happen. It has to happen, right? So no doubt about it. So there is no miracle, there is no magic. It is simple body's mechanism. That's how the body is made. The only thing is we have to realize, we have to do it. So yesterday we were talking about why don't you publish it? So I published it, right? It's published already. This is my article, my journal, right? So it is Journal of Metabolic Syndrome, 2017. Right, I gave a presentation in London, right? Presentation in such kind of conference, but unfortunately sponsored by a pharmaceutical company. So in the middle of my presentation, when they realized what is going to happen, they literally thrown me out, right? But even then I could manage to get my paper published in the journal, a very respectable journal. So now it is not just on the basis of just hearsay we are saying whether it is working or not. We have a concrete evidence, right? We have concrete proof, it is in front of you, right? So the diet, for those who are new to the diet, I'll just take 1 minute to explain them, and then again we'll continue with in the same speed. So the diet is very simple, the DIP diet. Why I call it DIP diet? I'll not explain this. You can go to YouTube video and see. In a brief, I'll just spend 1 minute. Or in extra class, I'll speak about that. Because here, I think, how many of you know about DIP diet? More than, yeah, many of you know, more than 50%. So that will be wastage of time. But a small thing which is very, very important, that I will repeat, which it will take 1 minute. DIP diet is step 1, as you know, 4 types of fruits and vegetables till 12 noon. Till 12 noon, you have to eat only fruits, 4 types of fruits till 12 noon. And the amount of fruit should not be less than your body weight into 10. In my case, my body weight 70 kg into 10. This means 700 grams. Minimum quantity should be 700 grams. Maximum quantity can be double, triple, 4 times, up to you. If you eat less than 700 grams, it is a food. If you eat more than 700 grams, it is a food and medicine, right? So that is step one. Step two, whenever you sit for lunch and dinner, always sit with two plates, plate one, plate two. Plate two is your favorite food, rice, dal, idli, dosa, bread, pasta, whatever you want to eat in whichever quantity. But before that, you finish eating the food for the friendly bacteria first, right? That is 4 types of vegetables in raw form. Why raw form? Because raw form is only having prebiotics. When you cook it, prebiotics die. The fiber element goes away. Amount is very important because I want to give food to 1.4 kg of bacteria. I have to feed 1.4 kg of bacteria. To feed 1.4 kg of bacteria, the amount of food which you need is approximately your body weight into 5. In my case, about 350 grams of plate 1 is enough to feed my friendly bacteria. And once I feed my friendly bacteria, now it is time to feed your tongue. Taste, right? So, you see, you throughout the life try to keep your tongue happy. That's why there is no tongue disease. Anybody whose tongue is sick? No, because you keep the tongue happy, it is healthy, right? You keep the body sad, so body is sick. So, I want you to keep your tongue happy a little bit, but only after you keeping your friendly bacteria happier. So first, feed for your bacteria, now feed for yourself, right? So you can eat whatever you choose to eat, whatever you want to eat, but only after feeding them. Sometimes people say, doctor, what about first I eat this, then I eat this? Don't do that. First, it is a responsibility to feed those smaller organisms, and then you can enjoy food for yourself, right? So, and the third step, of course, is avoid packed food, refined food, dairy product, animal food, any nutritional supplement, anything which is packed, any kind of medication, any kind of medication. Medication, I have never seen in my 10 years of my practice that in any one instance where the medication could save anybody's life. It can give some relief, but saving life, I have never seen. Right? So, but that I will talk later on. As is snacks, nuts, every day, equal quantity according to your body weight. My body weight 70 kg, 70 grams. Fruits throughout the day, eat as much as you like. So sometimes people say, doctor, don't you remember I'm a diabetes patient, you are asking me to eat fruits. I say, if you're a diabetes patient, then you must eat sweet fruits more. So many of my patients, thank you friends, many of my patients, they decide in the mango season that breakfast mango, lunch mango, dinner mango. Because at the back of the mind, they wanted to prove me wrong. That was a better, more intention. But at the end, they see that their blood sugar is very stable. They are forced to stop the medication. And then after some time, even Hamara Yogesh Mittal ji is here, then he thought that let me test it. He went to the sugarcane juice stall and he drank 3-4 glasses of sugarcane and then tested. But sugarcane is what? Again a fruit, right? So blood sugar remains stable at the same level. He is not satisfied with that. He collected few of his diabetes patients, again did the trial again and again. And when he saw a consistent result, then he decided to be with this mission, the kind of mission with which you are also now connected. Right? Thank you. Today, Yogesh ji is here and Yogesh ji's wife, एक बार आपको देखना चाहेंगे. Thank you. So, this is called DIP diet, and within the first 3 days, 4 days, what you see, the blood sugar start dropping, the blood pressure start dropping within 3 to 7 days, blood cholesterol within 24 hours, and body weight reduction within the first 1 month by 10% if you are having excess weight. At the same, these are the things which will come down. Some of the things will come up, energy level, digestion, metabolism, these things will come up. Right? And the result is within 1,000 generation of the bacteria, that is within 3 to 4 days. Now, why it is happening exactly, I'll give you one more explanation, the scientific explanation if you are really interested to know the science part of it, and that is with one slide only. 99% of the chemicals in the body are produced by the microbiota in the gut. 99% of the chemical. In total, in the body, there is about 4,200 kind of chemical reaction happens, major kind of 4,200 kind. Out of them, 4,100 something chemical reaction cannot happen if all the 1.4 kg of gut bacteria is taken out. This trial was done in other animals. It cannot be done on human, right? It is unethical. But it is seen that if you take out the 1.4 kg of bacteria, then 99% of the chemical reaction the body will not be able to accomplish. Only less than 1% of the chemical reaction body is able to accomplish. So now you could understand when the body produces certain hormone or when the body is not able to produce certain hormone. Whose contribution is there? Bacteria, the gut, right? So, and you can realize whatever your body's metabolism is, whatever illness you may call it, it is all about the chemical reaction. If it is so, then the responsibility goes with the major part, that is 99%. And if it is so, then it is something to do or everything to do with the microbiota. And fortunately, now you have at least 2 ways to change your gut microbiota. And I'm sure most of you have chosen clearly the second one, right? So I remember. How many of you are still ready for those who clapped? For okay. So what you do next time when you practice naturopathy, when the patient first come, you first explain about FMT. And once you explain about FMT, then he will say, with all frustration, doctor, बस इसके अलावा कुछ भी बोलोगे तो मैं करूँगा. अब वो लाइन पे आ गया, then you say DIP diet, right? Many times, patient says, डॉक्टर साहब कब तक करना पड़ेगा? ऐसे कब तक ठीक रहना चाहते हैं आप? जिंदगी भर करना पड़ेगा? I ask only one question, right? Suppose a dirty man come to you, I want to clean myself. What you will say? You just take a bath. But if I want to remain clean lifelong, taking bath only one day will not help. You have to take bath every day, right? So thing I want to tell you is that we have to change the mind. Body will heal on its own, as you know very clearly, right? So till now, I have explained the science of it, how the body works, and how it is easy, literally easy to change it. If you're alive and if you can eat, you can heal yourself. Very simple, right? Now, yesterday I met many of you, and you all came along with understanding that you want to learn something. You have your own questions also. Somebody was more curious about liver cirrhosis because maybe they themselves or their spouse were suffering from, right? Some of you asking more about blood cancer. Some of you asking about a thyroid problem. These are the questions which we interacted in casually outside the hall, right? How many of you interacted with me? Yeah, all of you, right? So you all have one question in your mind about a particular disease. For example, liver cirrhosis. Who asked yesterday? You were there. You were there. Okay. So I could read your mind that your focus was because you were suffering. Actually, your wife was suffering from liver cirrhosis. कि सर क्या करना है, कितने दिन करना है. Since the person is in pain, he is not interested in any third thing. Understandable, right? If you can cure him out of the pain, then he may be interested in anything else. क्या करना है, कितने दिन करना है. This was the most of the question. What was different was the name of the disease. Many of you asked only this thing. Disease, cancer, क्या करना है, कितने दिन करना है. These were the crucial question. Because you want to see the result, you are more, because you are in pain, you are in discomfort. The pain is not the pain which you are suffering. If your family, somebody is suffering, that is also your pain, right? So when anybody is in pain, they cannot think anything beyond these two questions. What to do, till what time to do, that's all, right? So I really want to answer and address this question very, very clearly so that you can do it correctly in the very first place without any hit and trial. So last time, about 1 year back, Sid Bauji gave me opportunity to be here in this stage. And then also there were 3 days of conference. And these kind of question came, which came this time also. And I was not prepared to answer these questions. I knew the answer. But to answer each question, I will take 1 hour each. Somebody is saying liver cirrhosis, it takes only 1 minute to question. But if I need to explain what you have to do, it will take long, long time, right? So I want to answer each one of your question. But the problem is, it will take longer time. And the total time available is limited. So I thought what to do. So Siddhabauji gave me responsibility that you have to do something and we are going to connect again. So I had roughly 1 year to connect again, right? So 1 saal tha mere paas. So in 1 year, me and my team worked on something that we should be able to give answer very clearly, without wasting time, with clarity, so that you, when you go back home, you exactly know what you have to do, and you exactly know what you can expect, the timeline, right? The calculation, those things. And in a very short period, not only for you yourself, but also for the people whom you love. So probably we could achieve that. And now it came to us in the form of what we call as, it came to us in the form of this called okay. So it came to us in the form of this game called Game of Life, right? This is this I made, and this you are going to get tomorrow. So for this, in your bag there is a small coupon. With that you can exchange. How you can exchange, when you can exchange, I will tell you, right? It will be announced tomorrow in the morning, right? You will get it. And 97% of the patients can be taken care with that Game of Life. And 2% of the patient, I have seen that we came in this world, someday we have to die. We cannot become immortal very clear, right? So that we cannot do anything, we cannot interfere with that. That can be those 2% of the patient. 1% of the patient, they need to taper down the medication, they need to taper down their insulin, right? So in a particular way. Only then means they have to balance. While they are on this DIP, they have to management of the medicine and management of the insulin, all those things. If can happen in balance, then only they can achieve the result, right? So for that, me and my team together, Jitendra, are you there? Yeah, please come, please come, please. So my childhood friend, so he was giving consultancy to various government intelligence agency about the solution, how to keep your internet world secret and how to, right? So those kind of, so I convinced him, why not you connect with us for a greater cause. So he has built something what I'll show you, because she has given me a cheat. This means I can be here only for 2-3 minutes, right? Okay, so I'll maintain that. So here we have developed for that 1% of the patient only. Rest you can take care, and some only God can take care. So we leave this to God. This we will together take care, 97% of the patient, right? Without spending their money or your money. 1% of the patient, even 1% is very crucial. This means 1 in 100, right? So for them, we have this app called Diabetes 72 app. Diabetes 72 app, it is available in Android, in Apple, both. And this app is for the patient, not for you, for the patient, right? Who is sick. Because you and me cannot reach to all the patient, but our app can reach. So he merged our technique with technology, right? And this is our main team. This is our main team. And this is you as a doctor. And this is the patient sitting here. In the patient's mobile, this app will be there. In your mobile as a connecting doctor, another app will be there, which is called Diabetes Clinic. Diabetes Clinic. This app is only in Android, not in iOS, right? If you give us 15 days more, it will be there. It can be in iOS also within 15 days, yes. So this means this is the main team, central team, that is me and my team, national team. And you will connect with us through this, and you will connect with the doctor, with the patient through this. And through this only, we will connect to the patient directly. So this triangle, in this triangle, we are step by step helping the patient remotely to come out of the medication and to balance his microbiota, right? Thank you. Now, but we can do at 2 o'clock. 2 to 4, we are having a special session for that, right? So that will be not here, that will be somewhere else nearby, right? Only our venue in charge, I'll give the mic later on. They will guide you. So those who are interested to know in detail, they can join us to understand this. Parallel session, here also session will be, technical session will be going on, but simultaneously we'll try to make you understand through this. What I mean to say, if somebody is sick, he want to get cured, so you can help. Very simple, right? And money is not the constraint to cure a person, right? That is very simple. I've understood this in the last 10 years, that money cannot buy health, right? It is the attitude, it is the knowledge which can get you healthy, and the knowledge should be very close to what you have experienced, direct experience that is close to nature. So here I talk of my team. Team means the people who are working with me for last several years, 5 years, international team, and fortunately today some of the people of the team are here. I would like to once again call all of them on the stage. Julia, please come on the stage. Silvani, are you there? Please come on the stage. Mukhtiar Singh, are you there? Zorina, Dr. Zorina, please come on the stage. Maggie Jean, come on the stage. So they've been working separately in their own country with the same strategy, and we collect all the results and then see what is workable for all the humans, right? So to honor them, सिद्ध बाबू जी, आपको मैं तकलीफ दूंगा ऊपर आने का. आइए सर. थैंक यू सर. आपके हाथों से यहां से शुरू कर सकते हैं. एंड सिद्ध बाबू जी हो गए. ये आपके लिए खास वियतनाम से लाए हैं. ये एक सिंबल है ऑफ प्योरिटी एंड सिंबल ऑफ हीलिंग. सो यू जस्ट प्रेजेंट. ये साल में एक ही बार बनाते हैं सर ये लोग. Thank you. Thank you.
परम सौभाग्य.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. तो इसके आगे हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे. विद दिस आई कम टू द कंक्लूजन ऑफ दिस राउंड, बट दिस इज द न्यू बिगिनिंग एंड आई गेव इट अ नेम, Green Ink Revolution. What is it? I'll tell you. It is not red anymore. It is not Red Cross anymore. It has to do with more with greens, right? So let's start with a new revolution, and the revolution is not just to cure and understand for ourselves, it is to spread the right knowledge to the people. So thank you, friends. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So with this, I give the stage to the chairperson and co-chairperson. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Chaudhary, for your very informative presentation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank him for really being good and very open, candid about what happens in the daily living. And that was a good presentation, I believe. The session is open to questions now. What we are going to do is we're going to take 3 questions only because we are limited on time, and probably for 2 minutes, and then we will conclude the session with a summary by the chair. Okay? So is there a mic around there where someone can take up the questions?
Hello. Hello. हेलो सर, माई सेल्फ संगीता तिवारी और मैं बरकतुल्ला यूनिवर्सिटी में योग की स्टूडेंट हूँ सर। चौधरी सर।
ये आप कहाँ पे हैं, मुझे तो दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहे।
सर मैं बालकनी।
ओके, ऊपर है, ठीक है।
यस, हेलो सर, माय हस्बैंड इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम मल्टीपल स्क्लेरोसिस,
या
तो मैं इसके लिए आपसे कुछ पूछना चाहती हूँ।
पूछे।
इज इट क्योरेबल और नॉट?
Yes, it is curable. Something with which, thank you. Something with which you are not born is surely curable. जब पैदा हुए थे तब ये था? आंसर इज नहीं, तो अब भी नहीं रहेगा. That is sure. So next time before you ask this question, is it curable? You ask yourself, was it there when I was born? For example, my skin is dark, so it is not, I cannot make it white. I was born with that, right? So, if you are not born with that illness, it is curable.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Sir, this side, sir, on your right.
Yes, sir.
On your right, sir. Here. Here.
Okay, so close.
Yeah. I am Kamal Mukherjee from Chhattisgarh. अभी आपने जो बताया बहुत ज़बरदस्त चीज़ है ये। एक ही क्वेश्चन है मेरा, जो रॉ फ्रूट एंड रॉ वेजिटेबल्स खाने आप बोलते हैं, तो अभी जो अवेलेबल मार्केट में है दैट इज फुल ऑफ पेस्टिसाइड, हर्बिसाइड एंड अदर थिंग्स, सो इट इज वेरी हार्मफुल फॉर आवर बॉडी.
Yes,
सो
yes.
हाउ डू यू कमेंट ऑन?
I'll answer it. इसको आंसर करने के लिए I will give one example. एग्जाम्पल ये है, जब भी मैं इंडिया के फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स सोचता हूँ, मुझे याद आता है विंग कमांडर अभिनंदन वर्तमान. वो कैसे एक खटारा हवाई जहाज से भी उन्होंने मॉडर्न हवाई जहाज को उड़ा दिया. मेरे दिमाग में रहता है कि अगर उनके पास मॉडर्न हवाई जहाज होता तो क्या कर देते. उसी तरह से इतने फ्रूट्स एंड इतने पेस्टिसाइड होने के बाद भी सब लोग ठीक हो रहे हैं. मैं हैरान हूं, अगर पेस्टिसाइड नहीं होते तो क्या हो जाता.
Sir, a question
Hello.
from me.
Hello.
Sir, a question
Yes, sir.
from the balcony. नमस्कार
Hello.
सर,
Just.
मैं balcony से बोल
ये-
रहा हूँ सर.
Hello, hello.
हाँ, या कैरी ऑन.
हाँ जी, this side.
सर मैं balcony से
मैं
बोल रहा हूँ.
आपका
बालकनी यहाँ तो
Balcony-
एक बार
अच्छा,
ऊपर
अच्छा,
से एक बार नीचे.
ले लीजिए.
Can we have one question at a time, please?
Balcony, please.
Maybe Sardarji here first, and then we go to the balcony. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
हेलो सर जी, मैं आपका 1.5-2 साल से आपका ये डाइट चार्ट यूज कर रहा हूँ बिल्कुल. तो वो फ्रूट्स का जो 12 बजे के पहले है वो तो 100% है, एंड जो वेजिटेबल्स खाना है, खीरा ककड़ी खाना है, वो भी मैं लेता हूँ उसी हिसाब से. लेकिन मेरा डायबिटीज का इंसुलिन कम नहीं हो रहा, गोलियां तो कम हो गई हैं.
ओके. इसमें
डायबिटीज का इंसुलिन पे 30 लेता था और 25, 24 पे जब आ जाता है डायबिटीज ऊपर आ जाता है तो फिर मैं जबरदस्ती लगा लेता हूँ उसको.
हाँ,
तो वो कम कैसे करूँ, उसके लिए दवाई कैसे कम करूँ?
या इसका जवाब, ऐसे काफी लोगों का इससे सिमिलर क्वेश्चन होता है. लेट मी
हाँ जी.
आंसर. मैंने अभी आपको जवाब दिया था कि 1% पेशेंट ऐसे होंगे जो ठीक नहीं हो पाएंगे. आई गिव यू ऑलरेडी एन आंसर. 1% of the patient, they will need our interference to cure it. 1%, जो insulin dependent especially. How to eat so as to taper down the insulin. That is a technique. And that technique, if you learn, it will take long time, but through app, the kind of app जो मैंने आपको थोड़ी देर पहले ही बताया, वो ऐप आपको डाउनलोड करना है. वो उसको कैसे करेंगे, वो सारी चीज़ें मैं आपको बताऊंगा. वो ट्रेनिंग लिटिल बिट. नंबर 1, दोज हु कैनॉट डू दैट, कि हम तो टेक्नोलॉजी में ऐप वगैरह मुझे नहीं समझ आता, उनके लिए गेम ऑफ लव, गेम ऑफ लाइफ, वैसे लव ऑफ लाइफ एक ही जैसा है. थैंक यू. गेम ऑफ लाइफ, अ गेम, राइट, जो कल आपको सबको मिलेगा, वो एक्सचेंज विद, उस गेम में पूरी टेक्निक दी हुई है. वो मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगा कल, कि ऐसे केस में जैसे ये आएगा तो कौन सा स्टेप लेना है, कौन सी वेजिटेबल को किस क्वांटिटी बढ़ाना है, इंसुलिन कैसे टेपर करना है. इट इज गिवन इन दैट गेम, एंड दैट इज माय लास्ट लेक्चर, दैट इज टुमारो, आई थिंक एट 4 o'clock. तो यू हैव टू वेट टिल टुमारो टू गेट योर आंसर.
अच्छा, ओके जी, ओके.
Okay, can we have the question in the balcony, and that will be the last question in this session. You can take one-on-one sessions, questions with Dr. Chaudhary in the break. so we can keep up with the schedule. Okay. So the question at the top.
सर मेरा नाम है कर्नल विष्णु सिंह रावल और मेरा सवाल ये है कि आप जो कह रहे हैं 12 बजे तक खाली फ्रूट्स खाने हैं, क्या उसके पहले वेजिटेबल्स रॉ नहीं खाई जा सकती, और अगर ऐसा है तो क्यों?
पहली बात तो ये है कि खाई जा सकती है, नंबर 1, लेकिन वाई आई इंसिस्ट दैट इट हैज़ टू बी फ्रूट्स, इसका कारण ये है कि सुबह जब हम उठते हैं तो इंस्टेंटली आवर बॉडी नीड एनर्जी. जो इंस्टेंट एनर्जी है that is given by fruits because it is having the kind of carbohydrate which the body absorb and give back more of the energy without increasing blood sugar. It's called fructose, which is found mostly in fruits. So those who want to get energetic instantly, for them the better choice is fruits. However, if you take vegetable also, right, that we recommend to certain kind of patients, cancer patient, diabetes type 1 patient, we recommend that also, as you're saying. So based on your kind of background illness, we keep on manipulating. But how to know how to manipulate? Again, I come back to the same answer. You have to wait for 1 more day.
और ऑटोफैगी सर, फ्रूट्स जब आप खाते हैं तो क्या ऑटोफैगी इफेक्टिव है या नहीं है?
Autophagy is something when you don't eat anything, when your body starves. जब आपने अपनी बॉडी कुछ दिया नहीं, भूखे हैं, तो बॉडी को कहाँ से एनर्जी मिलेगी? तो बॉडी में बहुत सारे ट्यूमर्स होते हैं जो कि आपको वैसे भी नुकसान कर रहे हैं, स्टोन होते हैं जो आपको नुकसान कर रहे हैं, बट ट्यूमर स्टोन के अंदर भी न्यूट्रिशन होता है, विटामिन होता है, मिनरल होता है, उसी चीज़ का ट्यूमर स्टोन बना होता है, जो कि ऑटोफेजी मतलब बॉडी अपने ही खराब सेल को खा रही है, उसके अंदर से रिसाइकिल करके न्यूट्रिशन निकाल के अच्छी जगह लगा रही है. रिसाइकलिंग तभी हो सकती है जब आप स्टार्विंग में हो, फास्टिंग. इसीलिए फास्टिंग बोलते हैं ना, फास्टिंग कैन क्योर. सो दैट इज ऑटोफेजी, राइट. फास्टिंग बोलेंगे तो उसे नेचुरोपैथी बोल देंगे, ऑटोफेजी बोलेंगे तो मॉडर्न साइंस बोल देंगे, है एक ही बात.
तो इसका मतलब क्या सर, 8 बजे तक हमें फ्रूट्स भी नहीं लेने चाहिए?
अच्छा, अब मेरे ख्याल से क्वेश्चन इज,
I think we'll close the question session for now. Dr. Chaudhary is available today, the entire day, and tomorrow as well. You can definitely talk to him in person and get your questions answered. I'm going to request the chair to summarize the session and conclude it for now. So, Dr. Sharanyan.
A very warm good afternoon and hearty wishes and congratulations to Dr. Chaudhary for having an elaborate session. I would like to summarize, because most of you are very anxious to ask so many things and so many informations. I would just like to summarize what he has done is something like, the most effective way of sensitizing everybody. You have been sensitized very effectively, because all the entire story and talk about the bacteria, what was told to you, because it is something which is unavoidable. But then the undercurrent is, if you are able to maintain your vitality well, then the bacteria doesn't take over. So it's like, I don't think anybody else could do such a very effective way of sensitizing you to make up your mind to get into a process where you are able to understand the concept, because papers, presentations, all these things are like kind of a scientific data. That is one side. But then day-to-day living, it has to be simplified. And that is what he has tried to infuse in all of you by quoting so much of information. The undercurrent is, as long as you are mentally prepared to change, the body will not change. So it's something like how much you give to the body, it gives back to you. It's like how well you charge the body. So irrespective of what environment you are exposed to. So it's basically the mind which has to be, receptive. At the same time, naturopathy and health go hand in hand with only one fuel. It's not petrol driven or diesel driven, it is a discipline driven. So if you're willing for that, then anything is possible. So with these information, I would like to thank Dr. Chaudhary for having a very elaborate session and giving such a simplified note to a huge mass in a very effective way. And it was very warm to see that most of you are already following what he is advocating. So that's been a pleasure to be here to witness the talk, at the same time the receptivity among all of you. So thank you for receiving it so very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you sir. अगला सेशन हमारा, you remember, 2 o'clock parallel session होगा. That next, my parallel session will be at 2 o'clock. So in 2 to 4, those who are interested for knowing more, those who have question answers, especially the diabetes educators, right, should meet me in a parallel session, not here, where it is that I think our anchor will tell. So we are going to meet at 2 o'clock. So those who are interested for this session, they'll go, but I'll be available in the parallel session. Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Food is medicine. Thank you, sir, for your invaluable session on DIP diet and a journey to cure. Well said. No person was ever honored for what he received. Honor has been the reward for what he has given. It's time to thank you and honor and appreciate our dignitaries for sharing their invaluable insight and thought-provoking words for the session. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. P. Sharanyan and Dr. Suhas Vinchunkar to felicitate our today's speaker of the session, Dr. Bishwaroop Roy Chaudhary, sir. With a huge round of applause. Thank you, sir. It's time to felicitate our respected chairperson and co-chairperson. For that, I request our Reverend Siddh Bhauji, our guide, inspirator, and motivator, to please come on stage. I request Dada Kal Lakhani ji, Hong Kong, to please come over the stage. With a huge round of applause, everybody. I request Bhauji to felicitate Dr. P. Sharanyan, Medical Superintendent, R.K. Nature Cure Home, Vice President, Ayush Medical Practitioner Association, and our beloved former principal, SHMCNY. Now, for felicitating Dr. Suhas Vinchunkar, I request Dada Kal Lakhani ji for felicitating Dr. Suhas Vinchunkar. Scientist 2, ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. जी बाबूजी. Thank you, बाबूजी. Thank you, दादाजी. Thank you, sir. Here we are at the end of the session. Now we'll be having a short break of half an hour, 30 minutes, to have detox drink and get energized for the next session. Our session will be sharp starting at 11:30 a.m. Thank you, everyone. There is an announcement that Dr. Vishwaroop Roy Chaudhary sir's session will be in the Commerce Wing, Sandhiraram College, next to Medical College.